Hi everyone. I wanted to let you know, for those of you who have non-profits and who are interested in tennis, Tennis Canada is putting a proposal out there that there's funding available if you're working with women and girls. So it's something you can look into. I don't have a non-profit, so it's not something that I'm going to be applying for. But if you're successful, think of me. I did repost it on LinkedIn for those of you who are connected with me and following me. I'll post the link if I can. Sometimes you can't post the links that are on LinkedIn. But it is there, so it's worth looking into if you have a non-profit and if you are connected to the sports community. For today's reflection, I used a different book, so I have different books that I use for my John Maxwell, and I used a reflection book, and today is day 80 in our year. So it's good to kind of keep track of where we are in the year. Spring is coming now. We didn't get the snow that we were supposed to, so that's good. And the scripture I looked at was the cure of Namaan the Syrian. So the chapter prior to this was on taking of Jesus and Elijah into heaven, and what does that mean for us? And it just shows us that we too will be taken up into heaven. There's allusions to when the veil is torn in the temple after Jesus' death. And that's the breaking down of the barrier between the priests and the people. It's the breaking down of the barriers between God and us. So there's all these allusions that come through, repetitions that come through to remind us of what has been done. And it's important to see that with the prophets and then with Jesus, and how Jesus comes mainly for us, for the people that are the non-Jews. He's bringing the message to us and the good news that we too can be saved as Gentiles. And this cure of Namaan, John Maxwell gives very interesting insights, because it's a woman, an Israelite girl, that has been given this message to give to Namaan about his curing. She hadn't been ill-treated as many female prisoners of war were ill-treated. So she positively comes forward and makes the suggestion of going to the prophet. And then it just goes through how he's cured and the steps he takes. The important thing to remember here is when you're dealing with culture, the taking of gifts or the bringing of gifts emphasizes superiority. So you find that when Namaan went, it says the king of Syria, working through the proper diplomatic channels, loads Namaan with presents to give to the king of Israel in the hope of a cure. If the presents seem excessive, it must be remembered that in the East, superiority is established by the grandeur of the gift. So in making his request, he must also demonstrate his superiority. So that's what you'll find. You'll find it for us in our daily lives. You'll find that when there's all these campaign trials and all that, and I'm speaking from experience in Canada, when I used to volunteer with the Liberals. So we used to go to Bill Monroe's office, and there were quite a few of us who were Indians there. So similar to what my grandfather did when we were in Zimbabwe, there was the sending of food. So food would be available for the volunteers, soft drinks, coffee, teas. So it's all it's a way to demonstrate that, yes, we have the superiority. We have the ability to give gifts. We have the ability to offer hospitality. And through that comes the building of the relationship. So he did something similar here. And then it just goes on to show after the cure, then he goes back. But the curing is of leprosy, and leprosy was a dreaded disease because it's something that led to people being ostracized. It's something that led to people being left out of things. So it was an embarrassment for him as the leader, and the cure meant everything to him. And finally, in gratitude to the God of Israel, Namaan takes home a load of Israelite soil to stand on while he worships the God who cured him, until the Babylonian exile opened the eyes of the exiles to the fact that the Lord is God, not only of Israel, but of the whole world. It seemed appropriate to worship the God of Israel only on the soil of his own country. So that's why with us, we can worship God wherever we are. We don't have to be in Israel. People do make pilgrimage, they do go, they see the places, and you'll find that people will bring, there's crosses that they sell with a little bit of the soil of Israel in them. So those are blessings to us if we have them in our homes. But we can worship God anyway. And the heroine of the story is the Israelite girl. So we women too can also lead others to faith. We can also be the ones who speak to our politicians, our kings, and we can do that knowing that God is with us on our journeys. So we are empowered through our churches, through our programs, but with us as women, especially if you're visible minorities and you're first generation immigrants, obviously we're not going to have those lavish gifts to give. We're not going to have the money, we're not going to have big gestures that we can do, but we can do small things with great love, like Mother Teresa said, and those things added up when there's all of us working together can make a difference. So that's the way that I look at it. And if you read if you want the scriptures, I'll give you the scripture. The scripture is 2 Kings 5 for that one. And for the other one, it's 1 Kings 19 to 21, and 2 Kings 2. If you want to read about the Elijah being taken up into heaven. And it's important to remember that with Good Friday coming up and this time of Lent, it's always God calling us back to him, especially for us who were considered and are considered Gentiles. We are not Jews, so we need to remember that. But we are, through Christ, we are joined onto God's kingdom. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I haven't posted my exercise and all that because they keep, I don't know, it's all this copyright and all that. So I decided, why bother? It's not worth it. My friends like it, so it's sad for them because most of them are not here. But I'll still do my singing. I just haven't been doing it recently. But it's a pain. Because every time you post your dancing or your exercise, they put copyright. Then they have to send it to Sony Music. Then Sony Music has to release it. And it's not just like one country. It's like, oh, there's a copyright from Japan. Oh, there's a copyright from China. Oh, there's a copyright of 3 minutes of this music from Hong Kong. It's like, please, give me a break. So anyway, that's what's happening today. So it's better if I don't post it probably because it's just a pain. And most of the time I just follow, like I follow Jane Fonda. I do the tonic and then I do like the low impact aerobics. I just adapt it to my own music because once you know the steps, then you can do it. Even if you look at those dance music videos that came out of Elvis, you can see the steps. You can see what they did, how they incorporated those steps into the music. So it's pretty easy to do. It's pretty basic. There's nothing that's impossible to do in there. But I thought I would share that today for the 2 scriptures. there's so much material available. You'll never be short of material if you want to do reflections and growth and learn and understand the scriptures. And, that veil is torn. Jesus made the sacrifice once and for all. And even when they talk about the tearing of the garments, that's also, you see that the soldiers tore Jesus' garment because they wanted that blessing. So it's interesting to see the things that are repeated in the Bible in different ways. And for us as Christians, we believe that Jesus is fully God and fully man. So if you don't believe that, then you don't believe in Jesus. That's it at the end of the day. If you think that Jesus was just a man, and that's what the Jews were saying in the scriptures, they were saying, this man sits with the sinners, this man does this man does that. So they didn't believe that he was fully God and fully man. But Jesus tells us that when he gives that parable about sitting with the sinners and sitting with the people that they consider to be unclean, he's basically telling them that I am God. That's what he's doing. You just have to read the scriptures. Just read them and read the daily readings, even if you don't want to do it daily, you can just read the Sunday scriptures. That's what I did with my spiritual director. We used to do the Sunday scriptures, and then slowly I started building it up, and I read every day, because when you're bombarded by every side with negative, with unemployment, being sent for psychiatric assessments, people telling you will never hold a job, you need to have something in your life that is going to help you, that's going to be positive, and that's going to strengthen you. And I think that's important for us as Christians. I'm glad to see Roger Federer's out. He's opening a store somewhere, Lund store. I do keep tabs on him, the same way he keeps tabs on me and my tennis community. So I like to see what they're doing.